All right, let's dive into Think and Grow Rich, this book by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
You're probably here because you want to unlock the secrets to success that this book has.
Yeah.
Right? And trust me, we're going to find some really amazing ideas in here.
Yeah.
This book has helped so many successful people, so let's see what it's all about, right?
Yeah. One of the coolest things about Think and Grow Rich is the secret that Hill got from Andrew Carnegie, the steel tycoon.
Okay.
The secret, it's like the key to wealth, right? And it's kind of hidden throughout the whole book, you know?
Oh, interesting.
Like as we go through all these principles, keep your ears open for it, you know? You'll be surprised how many times it comes up.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So Hill lays out 13 principles in this book.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one he starts with is desire.
Yeah.
And he tells this story about Edwin Barnes, who just had this burning desire to work with Thomas Edison, not just for him.
Right.
Right? Like Barnes took this desire to the extreme.
Yeah.
He quit his job. He showed up at Edison's town with like just enough for a one-way ticket
Wow.
and basically burned all his bridges, you know?
That's dedication.
Yeah, that's serious commitment.
Oh, yeah. Barnes' story is like the perfect example of what Hill calls a definite desire.
Okay.
He knew exactly what he wanted, and he was willing to risk everything for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Think about Henry Ford.
Right.
His vision for the car, everyone was like, that's impossible, but Ford didn't care, you know?
Yeah.
And it reminds me of Marshall Field, too.
Okay.
You know, after the Great Chicago Fire wiped out his store,
Oh, wow.
he didn't give up, right? He was like, I'm going to build the best store in the Highland no matter what.
Hmm.
That's what Barnes and Field did. They burned those bridges.
Right.
It's a powerful strategy because it forces you to commit to your goal, you know? So I'm curious, is there anything in your life you're ready to burn a bridge for?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, what's that one thing that deserves your absolute dedication?
Well, let's move on.
Okay.
Hill also talks about faith.
Right.
And he gets pretty personal here, you know. He talks about his son who was born deaf
Oh, wow.
and faced like so many challenges, right? But through this unwavering faith, this belief in a positive outcome,
Mm-hmm.
Hill's son achieved normalcy, you know. It's kind of like that opera singer story
Right.
who got rejected initially, told they weren't talented,
Yeah.
but they ended up successful just through believing in their abilities, you know?
These stories really highlight that idea of faith, like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
What you believe really does impact your reality, you know? Like think about Hill's business associate who was really sick.
Right.
Doctors were like, there's no chance, but he refused to believe it, you know?
Oh, wow.
He defied the odds and recovered.
Wow.
It's amazing, right? What you believe can change your destiny.
Yeah.
So take a second and think about your own beliefs, right? Are they helping you or holding you back?
Yeah.
Are there any beliefs you need to change to reach your goals? You know.
I like that. That's a good question. So then Hill talks about autosuggestion.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's this idea that your mind believes what you keep telling it, whether it's true or not,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he even gives a self-confidence formula,
Right.
emphasizing the power of positive affirmations, you know?
What's really important to remember, though, is that this has a flip side.
Oh.
Yeah, your subconscious doesn't know the difference between good and bad suggestions.
Okay.
Right? Hill calls this suggestive suicide.
Okay.
And he uses the story of Joseph Grant, this bank official who stole money,
Yep.
consumed by guilt. He kept saying, oh, my God, this is going to kill me, you know?
Right.
Tragically, he worried himself to death.
Oh, wow.
It's scary, right? So take a moment, analyze your own self-talk.
Right.
Are you accidentally planting negative seeds? You know? If so, what are some positive affirmations you can use to counter that?
Yeah.
You know? To create a better inner dialogue.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hill then challenges the idea that just knowing stuff equals power. He uses Henry Ford and Thomas Edison as examples.
Those are good examples.
Yeah. Super
Yeah.
successful.
Yeah.
But with limited formal education.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, he talks about specialized knowledge.
Okay.
Knowledge directly related to your goals.
Right.
And the best part, it's accessible and affordable for everyone.
Yeah. The key is knowing how to get that knowledge and use it, right?
Yeah.
And that's where finding your major purpose in life comes in,
Okay.
which Hill talks about later.
Yeah.
But even back then, when Hill wrote the book, teachers were like, hey, specialized knowledge is getting really important.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Robert P. Moore, he was a teacher back then, said, colleges got to realize that all jobs need specialists now.
That's interesting.
Right. So what specialized knowledge can help you reach your goals?
Yeah.
That's a good question to think about, especially today.
Okay, so then Hill introduces imagination.
Yes.
the force that makes desires real.
Mm-hmm.
He used classic examples. Ford's horseless carriage, Edison's electric lamp,
Yep.
all products of imagination.
He even breaks down imagination into two types.
Oh, okay.
Synthetic and creative, right? Synthetic imagination takes existing ideas and mixes them up,
Okay.
like a chef making a new dish with familiar ingredients.
Gotcha.
But creative imagination, that's like finding a brand new spice, something totally unique.
Oh, wow.
It taps into a deeper level, you know? Hill says to practice both types.
Okay.
Come up with plans, visualize what you want, turn those desires into concrete plans.
Right. Speaking of plans.
Okay.
Hill says you need organized planning
Mm-hmm.
to bridge the gap between wanting and doing,
Uh.
And he tells this weird story
Yeah.
about an enchanted kettle that this young guy bought from an old doctor.
Okay.
The kettle, along with its secret formula, held the key to riches, apparently.
That enchanted kettle is like a metaphor for the power of ideas. Think about Dr. Gonzalez, this preacher.
Okay.
He desperately needed $1 million to build his dream college.
Oh, wow.
He struggled for years to figure out how to get the money. Then, bam, he gets this powerful idea.
Yeah.
He'll deliver a sermon called What I Would Do If I Had $1 Million.
Oh.
He put his heart and soul into that sermon, really imagining he had the money already.
Wow.
It's powerful stuff.
And then something amazing happened, right?
Exactly. A guy in the audience, so moved by Gonzalez's vision, gave him the $1 million.
Wow.
Both the enchanted kettle and Dr. Gonzalez's story show that a good plan, combined with strong faith, can lead to amazing results.
Yeah.
So, do you have a detailed written plan for your financial goals?
That's a good question.
Because without a plan, those desires might just stay desires, right now.
Yeah.
Now, Helen then talks about decision-making as the key to conquering fear.
Okay.
He tells this gripping story about a condemned man who was super calm just hours before his execution.
Wow.
His peace came from accepting what was going to happen,
That's interesting.
What's fascinating is that Hill connects indecision to this downward spiral of negativity.
Okay. Yeah.
Doubt, worry, and ultimately failure.
Right.
He challenges us to get into the habit of making quick, clear decisions.
Right.
It's in those decisions that you overcome fear and move forward.
Yeah.
So how can you become more decisive in your life?
Yeah.
Is there a decision you've been putting off because you're scared?
Right.
Maybe it's time to take that leap and see where it leads,
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Welcome back to our deep dive into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, okay.
In this part, we're going to unlock the power of teamwork and tap into this hidden energy source, you might not even know you have.
Okay, I'm ready. What's next on this this journey to success?
Let's talk about the 10th principle.
Okay.
The power of the mastermind. It's all about using the collective intelligence and energy of a group of people, like-minded, working together towards a shared goal. Imagine, right, a team of brilliant minds coming together, boosting each other's strengths, achieving something truly incredible.
So it's like having your own dream team.
Exactly.
Pushing you towards your goals with their combined knowledge and all that.
Precisely. Hill says that no one, no matter how smart, can achieve great power alone,
Okay.
You got to tap into the mastermind.
Okay.
Think of it like batteries, right?
Yeah.
One battery can only do so much,
Right.
but connect them together, and you create a surge of energy.
Right.
Same with minds, aligned with a shared purpose.
Yeah.
They create a force much greater than themselves.
This is making sense now.
Yeah.
We talked about desire, planning, all those things.
Right.
But then you add the mastermind, and suddenly you have this amazing support system,
Exactly. Hill gives some great examples of how successful people use this principle, often without even realizing it,
Oh, okay.
He points to Henry Ford's rise, noting a big shift happened when Ford became friends with Thomas Edison.
Okay. Yeah.
Their friendship turned into a powerful alliance.
Right.
Ford learned so much from Edison. It's inspiring.
It's like having a mentor, but even better.
Right.
You're surrounded by these brilliant minds, each with their own unique perspective.
Absolutely. And Ford didn't stop there.
Oh, really?
He expanded his mastermind, connecting with other bright minds like Harvey Firestone, John Burroughs, Luther Burbank.
Wow.
Each person brought something different, fueling Ford's success.
Yeah.
Hill really emphasizes the power of who you hang out with. He says men take on the nature and the habits and the power of thought of those with whom they associate in a spirit of sympathy and harmony.
That's powerful, yeah.
Right?
So how do we build our own mastermind group? It sounds kind of intimidating, like something only super successful people do.
Not at all. It can be as simple as 2 or 3 people committed to helping each other grow.
Okay.
Key is to find people who share your values, who inspire you, and who give you honest feedback.
Yeah.
Think about people in your life who challenge you, who encourage you, and who you genuinely enjoy being around.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
It's about building that support system where everyone benefits.
Right, like that's saying, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Yeah.
But if you want to go far, go together.
Precisely. Now, let's move on to the 11th principle, the mystery of sex transmutation.
Okay.
This one often raises eyebrows, but it's important to understand what Hill really means.
Okay, so what is he talking about? It sounds kind of mysterious.
Hill is talking about consciously channeling sexual energy into creative pursuits.
Okay.
He's saying sexual energy is one of the most powerful forces we have.
Right.
And when you harness it, redirect it, it can fuel incredible achievements.
So it's not about suppressing these natural feelings.
No.
But understanding their power and turning them into something positive.
Exactly.
Okay.
Hill points out many successful people throughout history had strong sexual drives. But instead of letting those urges control them, they learned to transform that energy into creativity, ambition, a driving force for success.
He even suggests that love, romance, and sex together can make someone a genius.
Yes. Hill sees the power of love and romance to inspire people.
Right.
He talks about men achieving great things because they want to impress the women they love.
Yeah.
It's about using the power of these emotions and directing them toward a greater goal.
That's interesting. Okay.
Now let's move on to the 12th principle.
The subconscious mind.
Okay, this is where things get really interesting.
Right.
This part of our mind that's working below the surface.
It's fascinating, right?
Yeah.
It's like this hidden control center shaping our thoughts and actions without us realizing it.
I've always thought the subconscious mind was kind of mysterious. It's this hidden force that affects us so much, but we don't always have control over it.
That's why it's so important to understand how it works.
Right.
Hill says our subconscious believes whatever we tell it, good or bad.
This is where those earlier principles come in, like auto-suggestion and faith.
Okay, I'm starting to see how it all connects.
Yeah.
We're basically programming our subconscious, intentionally or not, through what we think and believe.
Exactly. This principle shows how important it is to protect our minds from negativity, fear, those limiting beliefs, Because if we let those thoughts take over, they can really sabotage us without us even knowing it.
So it's about giving our subconscious mind positive thoughts, beliefs, in visualizations.
Think of it like this.
Okay.
You wouldn't put bad fuel in a high-performance car, right?
Sure.
It wouldn't run well, same with our minds.
Right.
If we keep feeding it negativity and doubt, it won't perform at its best.
I like that analogy, yeah.
Yeah, it's about giving our minds the good stuff to run at peak performance.
So how do we fight those negative feelings and replace them with positive ones?
Hill emphasizes repetition and faith,
Right.
Remember what we talked about, positive affirmations, visualizing what we want, and really believing we can achieve it.
Right.
By consistently feeding our subconscious mind with these positive, powerful thoughts, we can reprogram it to help us reach our goals.
This reminds me of what we discussed earlier with autosuggestion, like retraining our minds through positive self-talk.
Exactly. It's all connected. Each principle builds on the others, creating a powerful system for success.
So what's the last principle, the 13th one? This is like reaching the top of Mount Everest in the world of self-improvement.
Ah, yes, the 13th principle, the sixth sense.
Okay.
Hill calls it the doorway to the temple of wisdom.
Okay.
The realm of intuition and inspiration.
This one sounds pretty mysterious. Is he talking about some kind of supernatural power?
Not quite. Hill describes the sixth sense as a highly developed intuition.
Okay.
A heightened awareness that lets us tap into knowledge beyond our usual senses,
Okay, so it's like an inner knowing, a gut feeling that guides us.
Precisely. Hill believed everyone has this sixth sense, but most people never develop it.
Okay.
He says it can be cultivated through meditation, quiet reflection, and trusting our inner voice.
This reminds me of Dr. Gonzalez and his enchanted kettle sermon.
Yeah.
He had the sudden insight, this knowing that if he just believed strongly enough, things would work out.
That's a great connection. That's exactly what Hill is getting at.
Yeah.
Our sixth sense often works in subtle ways. Hunches, gut feelings, random ideas that pop into our heads.
So we need to pay attention to those subtle cues,
Yes.
so little whispers of intuition,
Mm-hmm.
and trust them, even when they don't make sense at first.
Exactly. Hill believed the sixth sense is the source of creative inspiration, innovative ideas, and those aha moments that lead to breakthroughs.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
Right. It's about tuning into that inner wisdom.
This is all incredibly fascinating, but before we move on, I'm curious, how did Hill tap into all this wisdom? Did he have some secret method?
Hill credits his insights to this unique method he developed,
Okay.
the invisible council technique. He describes it as a nightly ritual
Okay.
where he would imagine a council of great minds,
Oh, wow.
people he admired, for their accomplishments and character.
So it's like having a dream team of mentors all gathered in your mind, giving you guidance.
Precisely. Hill's council included people like Thomas Edison, Abraham Lincoln, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and others.
Wow.
He would have imaginary conversations with them,
Wow, that's interesting.
seeking their advice, perspectives, on challenges or decisions he was facing.
It's like a mental mastermind group,
Exactly.
drawing wisdom from these brilliant minds.
And Hill said that over time, these imaginary figures became super vivid and real to him, offering guidance that he believed helped shape his understanding of the principles in Think and Grow Rich.
That's amazing. Hill's work was published almost 100 years ago.
Right.
So do you think these principles still apply today?
That's a great question. While the world has definitely changed since Hill's time,
Right.
I think the core principles in Think and Grow Rich are timeless. Human nature hasn't changed that much.
Right.
We're still driven by desires, fears, beliefs, the desire for fulfillment.
Yeah, those are pretty fundamental things, right?
So while the specific strategies might need to be updated, the underlying principles, the power of belief, persistence, imagination, and human connection, are as relevant as ever.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, I think these principles are even more important today.
Right.
With all the information and distractions and challenges we face.
Yeah.
To navigate all that successfully, you need a strong sense of purpose,
Right.
unwavering belief in yourself,
Okay.
and the ability to use your mind to create the life you want.
This has been an incredible journey through the first 12 principles of Think and Grow Rich.
It really has.
We've talked about desire, faith, autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision-making, the mastermind, sex transmutation, the subconscious mind, and the sixth sense.
That's a lot.
And before we go to part 3, where we'll explore the 30 major causes of failure, I want to leave you with this question. What principle resonated with you the most? Which one are you ready to use today?
That's a good question to think about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
We've uncovered these 13 principles for reaching success, and now it's time to kind of like flip things around, right?
Right.
And look at the 30 major causes of failure that Hill talks about.
Yeah, it's like getting a preview of the traps and roadblocks that can mess us up.
Exactly. It's like a warning system.
Yeah, think of it as a map, It
Yeah.
shows you the danger zones so you can avoid them.
Right. Okay.
Some of these causes might seem obvious,
Right.
but others are sneakier, the kind that catch you off guard if you're not careful.
Okay. So it's all about being aware of these pitfalls so we can stay on track.
Exactly.
But where do we even start with 30 causes of failure?
Well, Hill begins with an interesting one, an unfavorable hereditary background.
Okay.
He acknowledges that some people are born with limitations,
Right.
in their brain power.
Okay.
But he says that this is the only cause of failure that's really hard to overcome.
So even if you're not dealt the best hand genetically,
Right.
you can still create your own destiny.
Exactly.
It's about focusing on what you can control, right?
Exactly. Now, another big one is lacking a well-defined purpose.
Okay.
This goes back to what we talked about before. Finding your major purpose, that driving force, without it, you're like a ship with no destination.
Yeah, you might end up somewhere,
Right.
but it probably won't be where you really want to be.
Exactly.
It's about having that guiding star even when things get tough.
Precisely. Hill says that without a purpose, you're more likely to get distracted, discouraged, and ultimately fail.
Right.
You don't have that inner compass to guide you,
Yeah,
So how clear are you on your purpose?
that's a good question.
Yeah, is there something inside you just waiting to be unleashed?
Hill also mentions a lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity.
Ah, yes.
It's about setting high standards
Right.
and not settling for a life of just getting by.
It's like aiming for the stars,
Right.
knowing that even if you only reach the moon, you'll still achieve more than if you never looked up.
I like that.
Right. It's about pushing yourself, embracing challenges, always striving to grow.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
It's about taking control of our lives, getting out of our comfort zones, and not letting fear hold us back.
Absolutely.
It's about having that growth mindset and constantly trying to be our best selves.
Now, another pitfall Hill talks about is insufficient education.
Sure.
But he doesn't just mean school.
Right.
He's talking about continuous learning, seeking knowledge and skills that are relevant to your goals.
So it's about being a lifelong learner,
Exactly.
always growing our knowledge and adapting to new challenges.
Like updating our mental software.
Exactly, to keep up with the changing world.
Precisely. Remember what we said about specialized knowledge?
Yeah.
In today's world, it's more important than ever to stay ahead of the game.
Right.
And keep refining your skills.
Yeah.
Be curious, seek new information, never stop learning.
Hill also highlights a lack of self-discipline.
Ah, that's a big one.
Especially in today's world, right?
Yeah.
Instant gratification, distractions everywhere.
It's a struggle for so many people.
Yeah.
It's about controlling our impulses,
Right.
resisting temptations, developing good habits that help us reach our goals.
Okay.
It's about having the willpower to stay focused even with all these distractions around us.
It's like a mental muscle we need to train.
Exactly.
The more we use it, the stronger it gets.
Hill emphasizes building willpower and taking responsibility for our actions,
Right.
not letting outside circumstances control us.
So it's about being in charge of our own lives,
Yes.
navigating through challenges and making choices that align with what we believe in and want to achieve.
Now, another major cause of failure Hill discusses is ill health.
Okay.
He knew that our physical well-being is super important to our success in every area of life.
Right. It's like trying to run a marathon with a bad ankle.
Exactly.
We often forget about physical health when we're chasing our goals.
Right.
But if you don't feel good physically,
Yeah.
it's hard to be at your best mentally and emotionally.
Hill encourages us to take care of our health through diet, exercise, managing stress.
Right.
It's about having the energy to go after our goals
Yeah.
and live a fulfilling life. It's about treating our bodies like the amazing machines they are.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of pitfalls.
We have.
Is there a common thread among them? What's the main message Hill is trying to get across?
If you look closely, you'll see that many of these causes come from not knowing ourselves well enough
Okay.
and not having control over our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Yeah.
Hill says it's crucial to understand ourselves, our strengths, weaknesses, fears, desires, so we can make choices that align with our goals and values.
So it's about being proactive, paying attention to what we're thinking and doing, and making choices that lead us where we want to go.
It's about self-mastery, becoming the creators of our own lives.
Hill believes success is not about luck.
Right.
It's about consistent effort, a clear purpose, and a burning desire.
Exactly.
He wants us to learn from these causes of failure, not to dwell on the negative,
Right.
but to learn from others' mistakes so we can avoid them.
Turn those potential setbacks into valuable lessons.
This deep dive into Think and Grow Rich has been amazing.
It has.
We explored the 13 principles for success and the 30 causes of failure.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but it's a powerful way to understand how success and failure work, and ultimately, how to take control of our lives.
Remember, the road to success is rarely easy,
Yeah.
There will be challenges, setbacks, moments of doubt.
Right.
But by using these principles, building resilience, and believing in ourselves, we can overcome anything, reach our goals, and create lives filled with purpose and meaning.
So as we wrap up,
Okay.
I leave you with this final thought. What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?
It's a powerful question.
It is.
What dreams would you chase? What goals would you go after? The power to create the life you want is within you.
This has been another deep dive. Till next time, keep thinking, keep growing, and keep reaching for your dreams.